Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is Tuesday, July 15th, 2025. It is 21:10 hours in the evening, Central Standard Time. And we have some huge historic news tonight. There's been massive escalation geopolitically and lots of new developments that have happened in the last 2 days or so. It was a very quiet week recently. The last week or so since that ceasefire with Israel and Iran have been quiet until the last day or two. Now everything has escalated massively, and it's massively getting closer, increasingly getting closer to the kinetic phase, more of a kinetic phase in World War III. So we have lots of news to get through tonight. This is initially a live stream recording that is posted to the YouTube channel, and it is put into the live section of the YouTube channel. So we had the Black Plague, some call it the Black Death, in Arizona. There's one case that's known so far. It's not known if there's other cases, and it's spread to several other people. Though this is huge news, the bubonic plague is not commonly seen in the US. Within a day, the hospital patient died. Within 24 hours of getting there, the hospital patient died. It is not yet known. I haven't seen anything else as for the spread of it, though it's thought it might be a mutated strain of the bubonic plague. There's about 3 different types. That's huge news, especially if that spreads. It will cause much bigger problems than CV19 did. It's thought by some that it can be stopped by antibiotics if it's caught in time. That's only if it's even caught in time or given fast enough. It's such a lethal plague that even if antibiotics are given and it's too late, the person doesn't make it. It's a very concerning plague. It's one of the worst diseases that could be going around is this bubonic plague. And it's here in the US, and I believe I heard it might even be in certain parts of China. So we have the bubonic plague possibly spreading throughout the US. In the Middle Ages, it took out about 3/4. It destroyed about 3/4 of people in the Middle Ages that were on the planet. Millions and millions of people died in the Middle Ages from it. And we have this tension and escalation. U.S. urges Japan and Australia to prepare for a possible war with China over Taiwan. So as I've said many times before, China has been positioning and training, doing lots of drills outside of Taiwan. They've even gone into Japanese territorial waters and I believe airspace recently. So that is escalating very rapidly now. I thought China would invade Taiwan about a year ago. This has been going on about a year. they've been setting up around Taiwan. They're yet to invade Taiwan. It looks like that's going to happen very soon. Then we had massive flooding in New York City the last day or so. Massive flooding, as you can see there. Feet of water in the subways in New York City the last 24 hours or so, a little bit more. Not just the subways, this was also on some of the highways in New Jersey. New Jersey, the cars were floating due to this flooding. So massive flash flooding throughout New York and New Jersey the last day or so. Then we have Israel and Iran. It's finally about to get started there again. Operation Rising Lion 2. The IDF is preparing to strike Iran again. According to them, their Air Force has completed its preparations. So, according to the IDF, their Air Force has completed its preparations to strike Iran again. Israel is far from done with Iran. So that's about to continue. The war between Israel and Iran and how that drags the rest of NATO in is about to continue. Now we have Taiwanese troops. They're preparing for the war, the possible war with China. This is a recording of them training, running through the subways. I've heard they've even been transferring missiles through the subways there underground. So it's not seen from above through the satellites where they're putting everything and moving stuff around. I didn't know they had such a subterranean system there. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting how they have such an underground society, it seems. So Taiwan is very much getting ready for war with China. As I said, about a year or so, they've been right outside of Taiwan. They're just setting up and about to move in on Taiwan. The Chinese are setting up and about to move in on Taiwan. Then we have this, another front might open. This is surprising. North Korea threatens to ignite an Asian front if Israel attacks Iran again, which Israel's about to attack Iran. So North Korea is threatening to get involved in the war with Iran and Israel. That's a pretty long way from them. I don't know exactly how North Korea is going to get to Israel or Israel to North Korea. They're pretty far away from each other by land. That they're very far away. I don't know if they could do it by land. They could probably do it by air and by sea. That's a very interesting front. That seems to about that seems to be opening. I don't know what's going to happen with that front. That's a very strange front. They're pretty far away from each other. So we'll see how involved North Korea gets in the Middle East and Iran. This is some of the largest news this year. President Trump asks Ukraine if they could strike Moscow, Russia. And Ukrainian President Zelensky said, absolutely, we can if you give us the weapons. And now the US and Europe, over $10 billion of weapons are going to Ukraine. Over $10 billion in the first round of weapons are going to Ukraine. Over 17 Patriot missile systems, which is about 600 missiles, are also going to Ukraine. Europe and the US seem to be going all out now on Russia when it comes to sending weapons to Ukraine. So we will see how Putin reacts. We also have the nuclear forces on very high alert. And Trump is even considering sending Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine. So we're going to see exactly what Putin does and how he reacts. I think this crosses every final red line that Putin has, because Ukraine is about to send missiles into Moscow and St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg is where Putin is from. That's his hometown. And Moscow's about to get struck by hundreds of missiles and drones. All the while, Ukraine is going to be receiving thousands of weapons that the ground forces could use. So it is thought that Putin is about to do a preemptive strike. He may strike before the 50 days that Trump has given him. Trump has given Russia about 50 days to come to some sort of deal. Otherwise, he's going to put 100% tariffs on Russia on top of everything else. So we're going to see what Putin does now in the coming days and weeks. It's very expected that Putin is going to do a preemptive strike. We still have that satellite up in space. I know they do have them. They do have an EMP satellite going around, and sometimes it passes over the U.S. That's the one that's known of. I talked about it, I believe, the last time, the satellite situation. It could be an anti-satellite weapon, though it's also likely that it's a EMP weapon. It's a satellite EMP weapon that they could deploy over the U.S. and knock out the power grid, every electronic in the U.S. And they could do the same thing for Europe and the U.K. So we'll see exactly what Putin does. I believe he'll use tactical nuclear weapons on Ukraine at minimum in response, because they're about to start hitting Moscow. Ukraine is absolutely an existential threat now, and once Ukraine is hitting Moscow with missiles, hundreds of missiles and drones, makes them an absolute existential threat. And just the fact that Moscow is being attacked in such a way gives the justification for Putin to use tactical nuclear weapons on Ukraine. That's more likely what he would use. I don't really think he would use just an EMP on Ukraine. He would use tactical nuclear weapons, not strategic. Strategic nuclear weapons are much larger than tactical. I think he'll try to destroy Kyiv and the government, especially the government targets like Zelensky, with a tactical nuclear weapon in Ukraine. So we'll see what happens with all these different developments. These weapon shipments definitely cross every line that Putin has and Russia has. We are about to see a massive response, possibly tactical nuclear weapons used by the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin. Trump sees through his diplomatic ways now. Putin is a very good diplomat, negotiator. He was in the KGB for a very long time. He knows how to talk to people and manipulate and make things seem a certain way. That's the way Putin is, and Trump finally sees through that. So keep on preparing. Get more physical assets, gold, silver, land if you can, ammunition, food, real assets that will be worth something in the future coming up. Putin, Russia, China, they could very easily finish off the US economy. Even 500% tariffs that Trump also said he's going to do, I believe, on Russian oil, even that might destroy the economy itself. The dollar is going worthless, whether it's the war or these tariffs or the debt. People need to have real physical assets and have them very close by. It's best to have them very close by and not have some bank or other place hold on to them. You want to have them very close by, and hidden would be best. Hidden and very close by. So that's just about all of the historic huge news tonight. Tried to do that in a fast way. This is going to escalate way beyond where it was even before. It's just going up and up now, the escalation ladder towards nuclear war. It will not be long before Europe, NATO as a whole, is more involved in a kinetic way where NATO, Russia, China, North Korea are shooting at each other. That's what it's coming directly down to. Ukraine is not yet a part of NATO, though Israel is, and we have the Iran situation about to go way beyond where it was before, and North Korea is going to be getting involved. That's very likely to occur over there again in the Middle East. The whole Middle East situation is about to flare up and get worse than where it was at before. Much more intense is a more accurate word. It's going to get a lot more intense than where it was before the ceasefire. That was just the very beginning. This is still somewhat the beginning of the kinetic phase of this World War III. Keep on preparing. Get those physical assets. And please like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you all. I hope to see you all in the next one. Love, light, and blessings to you all. And thank you for watching.